The BYU Cougars are at odds of plus 35,000 to win the 2016 College Football National Championship. Last season saw the Cougars go 8-5 straight up, 5-8 against the spread, and 9-4 on the over-under. The BYU Cougars are entering their 5th season under the independent status in NCAA football, but head coach Bronco Mendenhall is hoping that his program gets inserted into a power conference in the near future. Mendenhall was with BYU in their Mountain West Conference days from 2005 to 2010, and his 10 years with the program, he has never had a losing campaign. BYU started the 2014 season at 4-0, and they were on track to contend for an early entry to the BCS New Year's Six Bowl Series, but it all came crashing down when quarterback Taysom Hill broke his leg in the second quarter of the Utah State game. The Cougars suffered a 4-game losing skid before finishing the year with their second 4-game win streak. Overall, BYU ended the year with an 8-5 record, but they also ended the season with a loss in the Miami Beach Bowl to Memphis, which included a temper-filled post-game brawl. With Hill healthy and fired up to renew the hype in his senior season, the question is whether or not BYU can navigate a difficult schedule and make their way into the rankings once again. Before the injury cut his season short last year, Taysom Hill demonstrated he had the abilities to lead any offense in the country, as he could run and pass tremendously. Hill saw limited practice time in the spring, only working on his arm strength and keeping himself as healthy as possible for the season opener at Nebraska. Jamal Williams can break the all-time school record if he can surpass 930 yards on the ground this season, although he would have been a lot closer if an injury also hadn't cut his season short a year ago. With Hill and Williams healthy entering their final senior seasons, the running game is in about as good a shape as it can be, so keeping them both on the field this season will be of the utmost importance. Mitch Matthews also enters his senior season as the leading wide receiver, looking to build on a junior season in which he had team-leading numbers in receptions with 73, while gaining 922 yards and 9 touchdowns. Additionally, the offensive line is in pretty good shape, despite there being not one senior among them. Coach Mendenhall will be taking over the defensive play calling this season, as defensive coordinator Nick Howell handled that responsibility for the last 3 years. It is a bit strange that 6 players who are returning starters on defense are not expected to start this year. Only 2 players officially have kept their starting jobs, and they both come in the front 3 of the Cougars' 3-4 alignment. Bronson Kafusi is likely to appear at defensive end after starting most of last season at outside linebacker. Kafusi led the team in both sacks with 7 and tackles for a loss a season ago at 11.5. Injuries caused Howell to give more time to his reserve linebackers in the spring, but it also led him to open his eyes to the talent he has among the front 7. The secondary is the biggest concern entering 2015, as BYU ranked 112th in the nation against the pass. The expectations on BYU are nowhere close to what they were entering 2014, and even with Taysom Hill returning, BYU is not even remotely near the top 25 in preseason polls. But with a healthy Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams in the offensive backfield, they will make many defensive coordinators' jobs difficult ones. The September schedule for the Cougars might be the most difficult in the entire NCAA, with 3 road games at Nebraska, UCLA, and Michigan, and Boise State and Provo in between. From there, however, every game is relatively winnable. For our pick and prediction, 8 wins could be found, but there is nothing to say that the Cougars could not start the year 1-3, or even possibly winless altogether. We see 8 wins as the projected total, and a decent bowl game to come when the season is done. For our BYU Cougars betting predictions, check out the Bang the Book Betting Center. And don't forget that the Bang the Book Betting Center is your best resource for sports betting information before you make your weekly assault on the sportsbooks.